So this has been picking up steam lately. Are the Golden State Warriors actually vulnerable? They got 21 losses on the year. The attitude of the team is perhaps the worst it's been since Kevin Durant signed there. Draymond declining a little bit. Iguodala being, a guy you can leave open. DeMarcus having an up and down run with this team. Maybe there's something to this, maybe there isn't. I guess the first thing you can start with is how deep is this team really at this point? At a certain point, Iguodala is not going to be able to flip the switch and be an amazing postseason defender. Maybe that's this year. I mean, if we look at the Warriors bracket, if the playoffs started today, which of course they don't, and the West is as close as always, but, as of right now, they'd have the Clippers in round one. I think they win that series without too much trouble. But then they could have the Blazers or the Thunder in the second round, and you're going to need Iguodala to defend the CJ McCollums, if he's healthy, we don't know yet, Dames and Paul Georges and Westbrooks of the world, whoever may win that series. And if he's not able to do that for his 20-some-odd minutes a game, then that's going to be tough, no doubt. But given that he was really good against James Harden when he was able to really get it going in that Rockets series, I think Iguodala still has it in him, and even if Iguodala is at 80%, that's still a very good defensive player who can occasionally be great. And if he can really turn back the clock for a select playoff series, then he still may be one of the 3 to 4 best perimeter defenders in the NBA. Obviously, he's not that from the beginning of the season to the end, but if he can channel it just for a stretch of time, then I think they're still going to be fine there. Now, there's other things between can Livingston still be effective, and can these Quinn Cooks and Kevon Looneys and Alfonso McKinneys, can they be anything for this team? I don't know. My gut reaction tells me no, which, maybe could suck. I mean, we're certainly seeing in the regular season where there are times when the Warriors will have like 2.5 guys who suck, and they'll have like 2 guys who are really good and 1 guy who's whatever on the floor. But I think that's them just trying to truck through the regular season. The best thing is in the postseason is, of course, the rotation gets shorter, and you think between Steph, Clay, KD, Draymond, Boogie, Iguodala, maybe 15 minutes of Livingston. That's 7 guys that you can hopefully rely on. And you can shuffle between Livingston acting as a point guard and acting as a 2 guard, and Iguodala can play any of the wing positions. So I think you can survive with that, especially because you can, of course, go with the Draymond at center stuff. So there's enough versatility there, and maybe you'd have to ask one other guy to just give you like 7 to 8 minutes a game, and you hope that that's not what kills you. To be fair, that can sometimes be the thing that does you in a playoff series, but you'd hope with all of this extra talent the Warriors have that they'd still be fine. Now, to talk about the guys who are definitely going to be in there, I don't think you have to worry about Steph, Clay, or KD. Do we have to worry about DeMarcus? Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. His run with them has been up and down. Started off pretty good, then he looked really bad on defense for a while. Lately, and when I mean lately, I mean maybe just that game against the Rockets, he's kind of bounced back. But, the thing with Boogie is teams are going to go at him. They just are. They're going to attack him in the pick and roll. They're going to make him defend in space, and there's a chance he's not going to be able to do it. Hopefully Steve Kerr has the guts to pull him in those situations, because while I'm pretty sure the Death lineup has not played that much this year and hasn't even been that good, they're going to go to that. That is still the best version of the Warriors, if you ask me. Even with all the stuff that we said about DeMarcus Cousins before this year and all that, and the fact that I was just on the board of, this team's going to win and it's not even going to be a contest. Boogie sucks on defense. It is what it is. But then again, there's not a lot of shooting centers in the West, really. I mean, they'd face the Clippers in round 1. They don't have a shooting 5. They would play the Blazers or the Thunder in round 2 if the playoffs started right now. Of course, the West could change a lot in 3 days. There's no shooting big man there either. Now, I guess there could be if the Blazers were actually playing Zach Collins, but they're not, so... Now, if the Nuggets can get all the way to the West Finals, then okay, DeMarcus is certainly going to have his work cut out for him defending a shooter and Jokic playing off each other, but at the same time, Jokic is going to have to defend everything Boogie's going to do, so if there is any saving grace of the DeMarcus Cousins defense thing, it's not a lot of the centers in the West can shoot. Now, if they run into LaMarcus Aldridge and he's playing center, then that could be a thing. But if we move on to, I guess, the idea of can you leave open Draymond and Iguodala now more than you ever could? Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. Granted, teams were already doing that and it wasn't totally working because, I mean, the Warriors are just so damn smart that they're not just going to continually be like, well, Draymond's missing his threes, so I guess we're going to lose. Like, they're going to do other stuff. Whether that's have Draymond bring the ball up and then he does a handoff play with like Steph Curry or whoever, and if you're sagging off of Draymond too much, then it's basically an open three-pointer for Steph, or they'll have Draymond set screens. They're going to do stuff. You can't just leave these guys wide open all day and reap the benefits of that. But at the same time, can there be a few extra possessions here and there where you can perhaps buy your way a stop just because Draymond's going to clang it off the backboard? Sure. Now, as for Iguodala, I mean, the one thing with him is most of the time with the Warriors, he's gotten his shooting together for the playoffs. I mean, in 2017, he was awful. He shot 19% from 3. But last year, he shot 38% in the postseason. So even if his shooting goes through stretches of being awful, if he can just do that, then that's about all you can ask for of him, because he can still do the occasional thing off the dribble, and he's still going to do his Iguodala things. And he's been making his threes at a pretty decent clip this year of nearly league average, so you'd have to think that he might even have his best shooting postseason for the Warriors, which could be like 35% on 3.5 threes a game, but given how good the top-end talent on this team is, if Iguodala just has an okay shooting night from outside, then you may not have a chance of beating these guys. So yeah, I think, for all the talk about where's this team at and everything, I understand that from a chemistry, team attitude standpoint, maybe it's the worst they've been in a while, but I just think they're bored and they don't care. And I guess you could say, well, weren't they bored against the Rockets and that's what nearly did them in? No, I think the reason the Rockets took them to 7 is because Iguodala was hurt and they were forced to play Jordan Bell and Kevon Looney a lot of the time, which, when you have two guys who are absolute zeros when it comes to spacing, yeah, that can actually stop the greatness of Curry, KD, and Klay. So assuming they don't have to do that again, then I think they're going to be fine. Now, could I see them being pushed to a Game 6 in a series that they could win in 4? Yeah, but when this team realizes, oh, we have to actually turn it on now, is anybody going to beat them? I'm buying no. So that's where I'm at on this. Are the Warriors perhaps more vulnerable than they ever have been?